Ohio. Tiraspol, the city on the left coast of Dniester, the capital of the unrecognized Dniester Moldavian Republic. The third most populated city located within official borders of Moldova, after Chisinau and Balti, and the largest in Transnistria. It is founded in 1792 according to special instructions of Alexander Suvarev, and in 1795 I received the status of the city. From 1929 to 1940 Tiraspol was the capital Moldavian. The Asser is a part of Asser. And since September 2, 1990 till present is the capital of the unrecognized Dniester Moldavian Republic. Tiraspol is approximately in 105 km from Odessa and in 75 km from Chisinau, with which he is connected automobile and by rail, is located on the left river bank Dniester and 90 km from her confluence with the Dniester estuary. According to Public Service of Statistics of PM, the population of the city in 2014 made 133.8 thousand people. The territory of the city minus 56 hectares. Also the city of Dnestrovsk, 1481 hectares. And the village of Kremenchuk, 2298 hectares. Are subordinated to Tiraspol. Tiraspol is the important political, scientific, economic and cultural center of Transnistria. In the city there are all branches of the power of PM, many average professional and higher educational institutions are also concentrated. In Tiraspol the industry, power, trade and services sector is developed. The capital of PM is one of the cities of Transnistria which are most visited by tourists and has the considerable potential of cultural and historical values. In the city the median fortress and monuments of architecture of the 19th-20th centuries, in Tiraspol 5 museums, the State Drama Theatre, 6 club institutions and the State Cultural Center, Palace of the Republic, partially remained. The name of the city comes from the Greek name of the Dniester River -9. The Greek name of Tiraspol and some other cities of the region is connected with popular in 1780, the 1790th years, the Greek project of Catherine II. According to the law of the Dniester Moldavian Republic on the status of the capital, the city has 3 symbols, the coat of arms, a flag and the anthem. The description of symbols and an order of their use are approved by local representative body of the government of the city of Tiraspol. The first coat of arms of Tiraspol was approved on November 7, 1847 by the Royal Rescript of Nicholas I. The municipal coat of arms represented a board in which top part, in the gold field the coat of arms of the Kherson province of 1803, and in lower, extensive, on the black field, diagonal passing from the right top corner, a fortification of red color was located, and on both sides of her, on one acorn. In Soviet period the city had a new coat of arms which was approved on March 29, 1978 by the decision of Executive Committee of City Council of People's Deputies and as an official symbol of Tiraspol till present. In the top part against the background of a fortification, date of foundation of the city, 1792, is specified in the gold field. In the lower part of the coat of arms diagonal from left top in the right bottom corner there pass the waves of blue color symbolizing the Dniester River. In the top right part on a red background the gear wheel symbolizing the industry of the city is represented by gold color. In the left lower part on a green background the gold image of a cluster of grapes. Colors of the coat of arms, red and green, are associated with flowers of a flag of the former Moldavian Sur and present Transnistria. The flag of Tiraspol appeared on October 14, 2002 and represents a rectangular panel with width relation to length 2, 3, red-green color with a diagonal strip of dark blue light blue color on a white background. The dark blue light blue strip symbolizes the Dniester River. Width of a diagonal strip is 1/3 of width of a flag. The anthem of Tiraspol was approved on September 27, 2007 at a meeting of City Council of People's Deputies. On August 20, 2018 the President of Transnistria Vadim Krasnoselski suggested to return to the cities of Transnistria their historical coats of arms. After the Russian-Turkish War of 1787-1791 the Yusky Peace according to which the Ottoman Empire conceded to the Russian Empire lands between the southern Bug and Dniester, the so-called Otyakov region was made. Dniester became the boundary river. For strengthening of new borders of the empire in 1792 construction of a number of the fortresses along the left coast of Dniester. On the right coast were located the powerful fortresses belonging to Turks Bender and Ackerman, which received the name of the Dniester or third line of fortresses began. In 1792 according to special instructions of A. 5. Suvarev within the organization of the Dniester line on the left coast of Dniester, opposite to confluence in him of the Botna River and near the Turkish fortress Bender, Fortress Median was put. Construction was conducted under the leadership of D. Ribas and D. Volin consisting under his team the engineer colonel. In January 1792 Catherine II enjoined to attach to the Ekaterinoslawski governor Vasily Kahovsky new lands to the Ekaterinoslawski Namestnichestvo, to explore them and to present the plan of arrangement, organization of the cities and division into counties. In September of the same year he made a number of offers among which he suggested to build the 4th district city at Average Fortress, mines the mouth of the Bonta River. So at the built earth fortress Median the city of Tiraspol was founded. Due to the construction of the city, residents of the village of Sukli moved 3 versts below across Dniester. By 1795 more than 5,000 people lived in the Prikropostny settlement. On January 27, 1795 the settlement at a fortress found the status of the city and received the name Tiraspol, from the ancient Greek name of the Dniester River. Tiraspol became the center of the created county of the Novorossiysk province. In 1802 the Tiraspol county was a part of the Nikolov province which in 1806 was renamed into Kherson. In 1816 in the city there were about 5.3 thousand inhabitants, by the end of the first half of the 19th century about 10,000. With accession of Bessarabia in 1812 and formal deprivation of her status of autonomy in 1828 the military value of the city decreased. In 1835 the Tiraspol fortress was abolished, but the city continued to develop, now as the district center, performing mainly administrative and trade functions. In 1867 the railroad from the separate station to Tiraspol was paved that allowed Tiraspol to become the first city of the region having railway communication with the city of Odessa. In 1873 railway communication between Tiraspol and Chisinau was organized thanks to what trade in bread and wine considerably grew and also the territory of Tiraspol increased. The most part of goods was on sale here, on 3 largest floor spaces. Fairs. Sredna Postna, Voznesensenskaya and Pokrovsk. In 1898 the foundry and mechanical plant of Koropitcha, on the basis of which the state mechanical plant was formed subsequently, was registered. Further, the plant of foundry machines of S.M. Kirov began to be called on Toklit later. In 1887 in the city the wine and cognac plant, Kvint, was constructed. Initially it was the clearing warehouse which bought up wine material at the population and cooked 40-degree vodka. Since 1948 the enterprise began to make cognac products which became a recognizable brand of the city later. At the end of 19th and the beginning of the 20th century in the city the Zhytomyr 56th Infantry Regiment, the Astrakhan 8th Dragoon Regiment, the Podolsk 55th Infantry Regiment, artillery parts and pontoon battalion were located. The city of the beginning of the 20th century occupied the central part of modern Tiraspol. Pokrovskaya Street, nowadays on October 25, was the main administrative and trade institutions. Houses of wealthy citizens were located here. On the northwest outskirts military barracks, on northeast the railway station were placed. At the time the city totaled 31,000 inhabitants. World War I suspended development of the city. In November 1915 Nicholas II organized a review to parts of the 7th Army of the Southwest Front, which commander was a General D. Chi Sherbachev in Tiraspol. On February 27, 1917 in Russia there was bourgeois democratic revolution, as a result of which the diarchy was formed. On the one hand councils of working and soldiers, deputies, authorities of workers, with another, provisional government, the power of the bourgeoisie. In Tiraspol the first councils appeared on March 8, 1917, when temporary council of working deputies of the Tiraspol county was formed. And already on March 12, 1917, on a constant basis of the beginnings worked the Tiraspol City Council of Working Deputies, which elected next day executive committee from 7 people. In Council of Workers 15 deputies were elected. A month later, after Great October Socialist Revolution on November 25, 1917, Executive Committee and Council of Country Deputies of the Tiraspol County, recognizing the power of councils, for carrying out in life of decrees of the Government of National Commissioners, elected the Commissioner of the Tiraspol County of the member of Executive Committee Vladimir Shopanov. On January 11, 1918, in the city of Tiraspol the Soviet power was established. At the beginning of 1918 Bessarabia was annexed to Romania, and the river turned into a line of demarcation. In the territory of the Odessa province the Bessarabia Soviet Socialist Republic, which stopped the existence under blows of the Polish interventionists in the fall of 1919, was created. In February 1920 in Tiraspol the Brodovsky campaign of separate Russian volunteer army of the General N.E. Bredov on connection with the Polish troops began. In the spring of 1920 the county repeatedly passed from hand to hand until at last the cavalry Krukatovsky established the power of Bolsheviks in the city. From 1929 to 1940 Tiraspol was the capital. Educated Moldavian the Asser is a part of Usser. In 1920, the 1930th years were constructed the canning enterprises here. Plants of a name on the 1st of May, name of Tchenko. In 1930, the Tiraspol Institute of National Education, future Dnestr University, is open. In 1932, the Higher Communistic Agricultural School and the Tiraspol Institute of Vegetable Growing are formed. In 1936, the City Theatre was open, and then the troupe of the Moldavian Musical and Drama Theatre, which founder was David Grigorievich Gershfeld, was created. During the same period in Tiraspol, the chorus Dona was created. During the Great Patriotic War, the Romanian authorities in the occupied territory between Dniester and the southern Bug created governorship of Transnistria, which center originally was Tiraspol, occupied on August 10, 1941. In the city, the camp for the Soviet prisoners of war was set up. During occupation in the city, more than 4,000 people died. In 1926, in the city there lived 6,398 Jews, 29% of the population. In the city there were several synagogues and 2 Jewish schools. During Nazi occupation, most of Jews was killed or deported to extermination camps. After war, 1959, only the Remain synagogue was closed. On April 12, 1944, Tiraspol was freed by troops of the 37th Army 3 of the Ukrainian front under command of the Lieutenant General Sherekin. To the 40th anniversary of the victory, Tiraspol was awarded the Order Patriotic War of the first degree for the courage and firmness shown by workers of the city in days of the Great Patriotic War. For years of war, 5 became heroes of the Soviet Union: Mikhail Arkadovich Pavlotsky, Georgy Georgievich Chernyenko, Vladimir Alexandrovich Bokovsky, Pavel Andreevich Sherbinko, Sergei Ivanovich Piletsky. The first post-war decade, the recovery period proceeded. Formation of the new industries, mechanical engineering and light industry, began later. In 1964, the Moldavian State District Power Plant in the settlement of Dnestrovsk, the satellite of Tiraspol, is started. The new industrial enterprises were placed generally in specially equipped zones, mainly to the north of the railroad, in the so-called Kirov industrial hub, Enikisk Elektromash, and in 1960, Moldova Isolat became one of the first plants of this area in 1959. In November 1967, in Tiraspol, the trolleybus movement was open. By 1987, 9 routes worked in the city. In 1993, long-distance trolleybus route No. 19 Tiraspol, Bender was open. As of 2012, on the city 9 routes ply. The accelerated industrial development changed the image of the city. By 1970, the population of Tiraspol exceeded 100,000 people. Also, the area of the territory of the city increased. Nearby villages, Kolkotovaya the Beam in 1957, Zakrpostnaya Slobodka in 1960 joined Tiraspol. In 1973, in Tiraspol, one of the largest CIS countries of the textile enterprises of Kist Tiratex in the southwest was built. In 1979, in the downtown, the bronze 9-meter monument to Suvorov, which became one of the known symbols of the city of Tiraspol and all Transnistria, was established. Tiraspol dynamically developed up to the end of the 1980th years. High rates of industrial production, construction of new industrial and infrastructure facilities promoted inflow of the population, both from the regions of Moldova, and from Russia and from Ukraine. Following the results of the last population census of Mizar in 1989 in the territory subordinated to the Tiraspol City Council, where also the settlement New Tiraspol, the city of Dnestrovsk and the village of Kremenchuk enter, more than 200,000 people lived. On September 2, 1990 in Tiraspol the Dnestr Moldavian Republic was proclaimed, according to her constitution. Section A, Article 13. Tiraspol is the capital of the Republic. For a short period there was a resubmission of various structures to the new government. Own governing bodies independent of the Republic of Moldova are created. The military conflict of 1992 aggravated heavy economic and social situation of Transnistria. The Dnestr Moldavian Republic didn't gain the international recognition. In 1994 in the city there took place the 3 International Film Festival of Slavic and Orthodox Movies, Golden Hero, and in 1995 and 1996 IN2 International Film Festival, White Stork. In August 2000 in the west of the capital of Transnistria construction of the sports sheriff complex began. 2 years later in June 2002, the main arena, the football stadium calculated on 13300 sedentary seats was put into operation, and in September of the same year the small arena on 9300 viewers opened. In 2005 the city became the member of the International Black Sea Club. In 2006 the Sheriff Holding constructed the Equator Complex on cultivation and industrial processing of sturgeon fishes including on production of natural black caviar. In the summer of the same year in the city there were 2 explosions in public transport which claimed the lives of 10 people, more than 30 got wounds of various degrees of severity. According to the investigators, explosions weren't acts of terrorism and weren't connected among themselves. In September of the same year Tiraspol entered the International Assembly of the Capitals and Large Cities. Magician. In June 2008 in Tiraspol the Ice Snowflake Complex which construction continued about a year opened. In February 2013 in the territory of the Sports Sheriff Complex the modern 50-meter indoor pool was open. The same year under the auspices of Banyo Evrazijskaya integration in the city construction and reconstruction of a number of social objects began. The building of Children's Clinical Hospital as a part of the Center of Mother and the Child, the new building of Medical Faculty of the CTs of T.Chi. Shevchenko, the Oncological Center with the equipped office beam and chemotherapy, Kindergarten GU, Republican Moldavian Theoretical Lyceum Complex of D. Cantemir in October 2013 in the residential district, Kurovsky, the 2-storied building of 910m was open. The Cultural and Leisure Center World in which branches of library and music school of Tchaikovsky and also AMUC, collectives, studios, clubs on interests for people of the senior generation work. Works on restoration of a powder cellar of a bastion of Sacred Vladimir which ended on October 14 the same year began spring of 2014. In one part of a cellar the exposition devoted to history of the Tiraspol fortress is developed, and in another the church is equipped. In the next years 3 villages of Slobozhsky district, Sukli, the near farm and Turnak will be a part of Tiraspol. In February 2015 the Cultural Yubileyny Sports Palace which is located in the residential district, Western, was open, and in March the supermarket of the Ukrainian company, Fershit, was open. Same year the Friendship Park, which will occupy the territory of 8.46 hectares at entry into the city from Bender, was put. Subsequently the park will become the Arboretum and a Metocnic for a nursery. In September 2017 in the city Suvarev Military School in the territory of which the bust was open for a 5. Suvarev was open. On September 2, 2019 in the downtown opposite to Tiraspol movie theatre the Singing Fountain was open. To the 30th anniversary of the Dnestr Moldavian Republic, on September 1, 2020 in the downtown the Catherine Park, which includes the territory, was open, beginning from an entrance on the Green Market and finishing with Dnestr Embankment. Awards. Award of the Labour Red Banner. On December 31, 1970. For success achieved by workers of the city in performance of tasks of the 5-year plan for development of industrial production. Award of Patriotic War of the I degree. On May 7, 1985. For the courage and firmness shown by workers of the city in days of the Great Patriotic War and for success achieved in economic and cultural construction. Republic Award. On October 11, 2002. For a big contribution of residents of Tiraspol to formation, protection and strengthening of the Dnestr Moldavian Republic, the shown courage and firmness, preservation and development of economic, social and cultural capacity of the Republic and in connection with the 210th anniversary from the date of foundation of the city. Authorities. After the collapse of the USSR and formation of the Dnestr Moldavian Republic by the city began to operate the head of public administration and council of local deputies. The head of administration of the city is appointed by the President of Transnistria. As of January 2017 the mayor is Tiraspol Oleg Anatolievich, who was appointed the mayor on December 23, 2016. Longtime Viktor Ivanovich Kostirko. Since February 1, 2002 on December 30, 2011. Was the mayor. Council of People's Deputies of the City of Tiraspol is elected by inhabitants on local elections on single-candidate districts for a period of 5 years. This body consisting of 49 deputies, 46 from Tiraspol and 3 from Dnestrovsk, is headed by the chairman of the Board of Deputies. As of January 2016, Albina Ivanova. The last elections to Council of People's Deputies took place on November 29, 2015. Mayors. Posakovsky Alexander Ignatievich, 1950-1953. Chairman of the Executive Committee of the City Soviet of People's Deputies. Solovyova Valentina Sergeyevna, 1963-1964. The first Secretary of a City Town Committee. Petrek Pavel Petrovich, 1964-1972. The first Secretary of a City Town Committee. Stroz Franz Mikhailovich, 1972-1978. The first Secretary of a City Town Committee. Shopa Pyat Ivanovich, 1978-1980. The first Secretary of a City Town Committee. Tumokin Alexander Alexandrovich, 1980-1985. The first Secretary of a City Town Committee. It is unknown. Kostirko Viktor Ivanovich from February 1, 2002 to December 30, 2011. Bezbabchenko Andrei Ivanovich from January 24, 2012 to September 28, 2016. Yanaliuk Sergei Valerievich from September 28 to December 22, 2016. Tiraspol, Oleg Anatolievich from December 23, 2016 to November 1, 2021. He's Gennady Dmitrievich from November 2 to December 29, 2021. Deputy. Tiraspol, Oleg Anatolievich since November 29, 2021. Physiographic characteristic. Tiraspol is located on the southern outskirts of the East European plain in a steppe zone. Geographical coordinates of the city: 46 AE northern latitude and 29 AE east longitude. Tiraspol is approximately in 105 km from Odessa and in 75 km from Chisinau, with which he is connected automobile and by rail. The city is in the basic on the left riverbank Dniester in 90 km from her confluence with the Dniester estuary. The territory of the city -hectares are also subordinated to Tiraspol, the city of Dnestrovsk, 1481 hectares, and the village of Kremenchuk, 2298 hectares. Nature. Slopes of the valley of Dniester near Tiraspol flat Slaborskanyny are more rare steep. The surface of terraces is cut by ravines and beams. The biggest of them, Kokotovaya, the beam passing in east part of the city about 10 km long. On a bottom of a beam the stream with the local name Kapchaka. The official name the Limpid stream. Falling into Dniester at the village of Sukli flows. Coast of a stream or bogi, crew with a cane and a sedge. In the top part of a beam, on her left slope, the sand gravel pit was once developed. His abandoned sites have naked ledges which are washed away and collapse rain waters, therefore the big and deep gullies which allowed to find a large number of ancient fossils were formed. Through the central part of the city in the direction from the northwest on the southeast there passes the beam Redyar about 5 km long. From the place of crossing of a beam with railroad tracks on her bottom the small stream flows. In the lower part it is put into a reinforced concrete tray which falls into Dniester, and the bottom of a beam is filled up and built up. In old photos it is possible to see the bridge through this stream on the place of present Suvorov Square. The river near Tiraspol strongly winds and cuts the floodplain of the left coast on 2 parts. For protection of the floodplain against flood waters of the river bank there were obvalovana, and on the side from East Hotel to the city beach are carefully strengthened. Here the embankment was built. In the neighborhood of Tiraspol the inundated Kitskansky wood consisting of a poplar, a willow, an oak sherishchati, a maple tatar, an elm with an underbrush from blackberry, a svidina, a hawthorn, and unimus, alder is located. On the right river bank opposite to the city embankment there is a city forest in which along coast of Dniester summer boarding houses and nurseries improving the camp are constructed. Because of high familiarity of the territory natural vegetation occupies only the small spaces now. Except the Kitskansky wood she remained in the floodplain in the form of the centers of meadow vegetation from a clover, a sorrel and sites of steppe vegetation from a feathergrass, a sage, a thyme, an astragal in a northwest part of the city around airfield. Climate in Tiraspol favorable. The winter is short, about 80 days last. Snow cover is unstable because of frequent thaw, its power seldom exceeds 20 cs. Sharp decreases in temperatures are short, from 3 to 5 days. Spring in Tiraspol early. Steady transition of average daily temperatures through 0 C is observed at the beginning of March. From the 10th of May to the 20th of September in Tiraspol, average daily temperature is usually above 20 C and summer weathers dominate. The autumn period proceeds 75-80 days. The first frosts in October are characteristic of it, is more rare at the beginning of November. Average monthly temperature of the hottest month, July of plus 22 C, the coldest January 3.2 C. Average annual temperature, plus 9.6 C. An absolute maximum, plus 41 C, an absolute minimum 30 C. Duration of the bezmorozny period in a year is 210-220 days. In general, the annual course of temperatures is characterized by flatness, lack of sharp differences. The general circulation of the atmosphere is characterized by prevalence of anticyclonic weather in summertime, cyclonic during the cold period with prevalence of winds of the northwest direction. A clear sunny weather for the city, an everyday occurrence. Tiraspol, the second largest city in Moldova, after Chisinau, and the largest in Transnistria. According to data of the population census conducted 2 p.m. in November 2004, the population of Tiraspol made 144,199 people. With the subordinated settlements minus 159,163 persons, including urban population minus 158,069 people. The city of Tiraspol minus 144,199 people. The city of Dnestrovsk minus 12382 people. That's new in Tiraspol. Nowadays I was a part of Tiraspol. Minus 1488 people. Country people minus 1094 residents of the village of Kremenchuk located on the right coast of Dniester but administratively subordinated to public administration of Tiraspol. Including men minus 72240 people. 45.4%. Women minus 86923 people. 54.6%. According to Public Service of Statistics of PM, the population of the city for January 1, 2014 made 133,807 people. With the subordinated settlements minus 145,332 persons. For January 1, 2019, 137,016 people. Including the city of Tiraspol, for January 1, 2019, 127,000 people. The city of Dnestrovsk minus 10436 people. Country people minus 1089 people. The village of Kremenchuk minus 1089 people. In view of rather dense population in the south of Transnistria and the actual lack of borders between Tiraspol and neighboring settlements, appropriate to speak about the Tiraspol and Bender agglomeration with the population about 350,000 people. In the south, Tiraspol borders on large, with the population more than 10,000 people and with multi-storied building. The village of Suklia, which merged with the city in the 1980th years. The cities of Tiraspol and Bender, about which real association more than 40 years discussions are conducted, make a uniform system with intensive production, transport and cultural ties. In particular, Tiraspol and Bender, as the largest cities of Transnistria, are connected by a uniform trolleybus system. Between the cities also general plies for Tiraspol and Bender share taxi no. 20. In Bender branches of educational institutions of Tiraspol are located, including the Dnester State University. Pendular population shift is characteristic of Tiraspol and Bender. The uniform transport system. Buses and share taxis. Connects Tiraspol with the villages of Suklia, Karagash, Ternovka and also about tens of other nearby settlements. The ethnic structure of Tiraspol, according to data of a census of 2004, is characterized by prevalence of Russians -43.4% and Ukrainians -34.4%. Moldavians make 15.9% and representatives of other nationalities. Generally Bulgarians, Pigous, Belarusians, Germans, Jews and Armenians. -6.3%. In 1926 the population made 29.7 thousand inhabitants, including Russian -55%, Jews -29%, Ukrainians -12%, Moldavians -1.4%. According to data of a census of 2004, 90.4% of residents were naturalized PM, at the same time part of them at the same time was citizens of the following states. The Republic of Moldova -16.2%. The Russian Federation -16.1%, Ukraine -12.4%. Economy. In the city the Dnester Republican Bank and also a number of commercial banks is located. Kisk Dnester Savings Bank, Kisk Agroprom Bank, Jesk Exim Bank. In 2005 the Tiraspol Mint, which is engaged in production of all types of the Dnester coins, was created. Also in the city there is an Dnester stock exchange on which a trading in shares of the privatized public industries are held. Tiraspol always developed as the trade and industrial city thanks to the geographic location between Chisinau and Odessa. After 2000 the Sheriff Holding became the main employer in the city. This firm owns supermarket chain in which more than 2.5 thousand people and gas stations work. Also the company is a monopolist in the sphere of mobile and wire telephone communication. Since 1997 the firm is engaged in cable television, and in 2005 opened interior of gaming machines. In total in holding about 13,000 people work. In Tiraspol there are 3 supermarket chains of electronics, High-Tech, Tiret and Atmost. Also in the city work several grocery markets located in different districts of the city. The central grocery market, which is located in the center of the capital. During weekend, from 7 to 10,000 buyers, everyday life, from 3 to 5,000. Is the most visited. At the same time in the territory of the city there are many shopping centers. Shopping Center Atlantic, Shopping Center Rytm, Shopping Center Intercentrix, Shopping Center Monarch, Shopping Center Minsk, Shopping Center Stolichny, Shopping Center Timp, Shopping Center Eversto, Shopping Center Sokol, Shopping Center Black Sea Coast, Shopping Center Monarch, Shopping Center Odessa and others. Besides in the city the car center Mercedes, which is an official dealer of 5 brands, is located. Mercedes, Mitsubishi, Hyundai, Kia and Skoda. Agricultural fairs in which producers of agricultural products and the enterprise of processing industry from nearby areas and also inhabitants of the private sector participate are held to the autumn period in the city. In 2013, the non-state medical center, Meidin, which provides a wide range of medical and diagnostic services, was open. In the city, several advertising agencies work. Exclusive, Nikita Look. For the first half of the year 2013, the number of employees of the organizations of all branches of economy, except small business entities, was 42.8 thousand people. The average monthly nominal charged wage of one worker, except small business entities, was 43.83 rubles of PM, and in budgetary organizations minus 26.44 rubles of PM. As of July 1, 2013, in the city, 1699 small business entities and 4417 businessmen without formation of legal entity are registered. The average number of the small business entities working at the enterprises was 83 people. For the first half of the year 2013, in the city, it is realized food products without small business entities on 589,993,000 rubles of PM, and selling of non-foods made 502,853.00 rubles of PM. In total, for that period, it is realized consumer goods and it is rendered paid services via all channels of realization on 2,331,532.00 rubles of PM. Industry. The modern city economy develops in difficult economic and political conditions. The collapse of the USSR in the early 90s caused a rupture of habitual communications that sharply worsened an economical geographical location of Tiraspol. The city was cut off from traditional sources of raw materials, suppliers of accessories, the main consumers of highly specialized products. It began serious economic crisis led to sharp falling of production, a hyperinflation and decrease in the standard of living of the population. The military conflict of 1992 aggravated heavy economic and social situation of Transnistria and Tiraspol in particular. Many productions technically became outdated, came off realities of the modern markets, lost communications with suppliers of accessories and consumers of the products. Change of the owner and radical modernization of production were required. After the serious crisis of the 1990th years, the industry of PM slowly adapted to new conditions of managing. Because of negative influence of various external restrictions, in recent years the Dnester producers continue to incur losses and to work not at full capacity. Industrial production is one of the main functions of the city of Tiraspol also now. Despite decrease in number occupied in branches of production of goods, Tiraspol remains the most important industrial center of Transnistria. In 9 months 2012, income from the budget-forming enterprises and local city budget was about 244.2 million rubles of PM. In Tiraspol, the light, food industry and electrotechnical mechanical engineering are developed. Base of the industry of Tiraspol are the Moldavian State District Power Plant, KISK Tiratex, the Wine and Cognac Plant, Kvint, Tiraspol Transgaz, JIP Typar and KISK Elektromash, JESK Litmash and others. Industries of the enterprise. Mechanical engineering and metalworking of KISK Elektromash /KISK Moldova Isolate /JESK Tiraspol Electro Hardware Plant /JESK Litmash. Light industry of Tiratex /KISK Odema /TEPFI Intercentral Ux /JESK Kruno /NL Solimp Product Company. Industry of building materials of Gestusteklo / brickworks / plant of concrete goods / NL Sternistrum. Power industry uniform distribution power supply networks / Tiraspol. Food industry wine and cognac plant bind / bread baking complex / cannery on May 1 / plant of baby food / sturgeon aquator complex / milk plant / meat processing plant. Woodworking and furniture industry of NL's factory of furniture, favorite, /NL's Mabelnea Everestal factory /Kist factory of souvenirs Lochafa. Power industry. On September 26, 1964 the Moldavian State District Power Plant in the city of Dnestrovsk, which is under supervision of public administration of the city of Tiraspol, was started. The general power of the station is 2520 μ. The station has an opportunity to make the electric power with use of natural gas, coal and fuel oil. In 2010 Direct started in work on cogeneration station Tiraspol, which is capable to develop annually over 250 million kWh of the electric power and also thermal energy for needs of production. Tiraspol, one of the cities of Transnistria which are most visited by tourists. The central square and Slavas memorial designed by Harry Pfeiffer of the greatest interest to city visitors. Sports tourism is stimulated with modern sports center, sheriff, and historical, the museums of the city which are a part of the Tiraspol Joint Museum. Among other sites of the city there is a remained powder cellar of the Tiraspol Earth Fortress, a botanical garden and the Dnester State Drama Theatre, the oldest theatre of the Soviet Moldova. In 2008 in the city the mini zoo in the territory of Scientific Research Institute of Agriculture at Public Service of Execution of Punishments of the Ministry of Justice of PM was open. Transport. According to the report of Public Administration of Tiraspol, in 2018 the regular message of city transport was carried out along 31 routes, including 23 routes of the motor transport and 8 routes of the electric transport served by 6 enterprises carriers. 8 routes of city transport of Tiraspol serve settlements of Sloboziski district and the city of Bender, also adjacent to the city. 256 share taxis and 25 trolleybuses daily work at city routes on average. Besides, in the city 275 units of the automobile taxi work on average. Trolleybus traffic appeared in Tiraspol in 1967. Since 1993 Tiraspol is connected to Bender the trolleybus line. Extent of the trolleybus Tiraspol Bender line is 13.3 km. As of 2012 the extent of intracity lines is more than 70 km. 7 intracity trolleybus routes and 1 long distance work in the city. In Tiraspol 29 ZU-682 trolleybuses, 10 AXM-321 trolleybuses, 5 trolleybuses of MOZ-103T and 2 AXM-420 trolleybuses work. In November 2013 the trolleybus equipped with a wireless point of internet access Wi-Fi was for the first time released to the city line. On May 9, 2014 in Tiraspol 2 new trolleybuses of brand VOVS-5298.01, 50 Avantgarde appeared. The city electric transport for 2018 transported 83,000 people, and in comparison with 2017, 8790. The number decreased by 5.5%. The number of paid passengers is 2641,000 people, or 31.8% of total number. Income from transportation of passengers on the operating regular routes of electric land transport was 5431. 1,000 rubles. The share taxi of Tiraspol, one of main types of transport which connects all residential districts of the capital with each other. 27 intracity routes and about 80 suburban which cover all districts of the city and its suburbs work in the city. Generally private companies are engaged in transportations. Also, 13 private companies round the clock render transportation services of the taxi. In 2018, shared taxis of the city transported 11,754.4 thousand passengers, that is 4.1% more than in 2017. 2017, 11,291.3 thousand people. On the right of transportation of passengers by automobile taxi, 8888 registration coupons are issued. Till 1967, buses were the only type of city transport of Tiraspol. Then, with development of network of trolleybus routes and with the advent of share taxis, bus routes began to be reduced. By the beginning of the 1990th years, intracity routes No. 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 11 worked in the city. By the end of the 90th, the bus movement in Tiraspol disappeared because of wear of a bus fleet. In 2012, the decision to restore some bus routes thanks to purchase of the new rolling stock was made. Now buses MOS-103 and MOS-104 subordinated to the Tiraspol trolleybus management ply along intracity routes. Tirtex, the residential district western. Tirtex, the near farm. Tirtex, Trnovka. In 1846, the Belgian engineer Zuiber began development of the original project of the railroad between Odessa, Tiraspol and Parkanomy. At the beginning of the second half of the 60th years of the 19th century, construction of a branch line to Tiraspol began. In 1867, the railroad from the separate station to the station Tiraspol was paved, thanks to what Tiraspol became the first city of the region connected in the direct way to Odessa. At the end of 1867, in Tiraspol, the railway station was built. In 1870, the railroad to Parkanomy is constructed. At the beginning of the 20th century, passenger traffic took the important place in railway communication of the region. To Odessa and Chisinau through Tiraspol, trains of different classes were started. Post, freight and passenger, express. In April 1944, the station in Tiraspol was burned by the receding German-Romanian troops. Subsequently, it became one of the first objects restored after release of the city. Because of lack of regulation of a relationship between railway structures of Moldova and Transnistria since 2006, through the station of Tiraspol all the year round there passed only fast train No. 65 Moscow, Chisinau, and in summer months, the train Saratov-Varna. Since October 1, 2010, running of train No. 641/642 Chisinau, Odessa was resumed. In 2013, reconstruction of the station square was carried out, the new tile is laid, asphalt on the platform is replaced. It is planned to establish on all station new illumination which will work also in the afternoon. At the same time the main building will be repaired. In 1 kilometer to the northwest from Tiraspol there is an airfield which till 1989 was used as military airfield of the Air Force of the USA. In 1991 works on conversion of the Tiraspol airfield into the passenger airport which would be the largest in Transnistria were carried out. However, conversion was stopped due to the lack of financing and political lack of regulation of the status of Transnistria. October 2012 the president of PM Evgeny Shevchuk expressed the intention to create in Tiraspol in the territory of military airfield the civil international airport. The head of the delegation of the State Duma of Russia Sergei Gavrilov confirmed that the airport in Tiraspol will be reconstructed at the expense of means of the Russian budget. Education. In Tiraspol about 20 preschool educational institutions, 9 institutions of additional education and also 30 schools, including correctional work, including 2 city theoretical lyceums and a humanitarian and mathematical gymnasium. The Ukrainian and Moldavian lyceums having the status republican. Several non-state schools, including the Romanian Lyceum, Lucian Blaga, on the basis of School No. 20. Also in the city the Children's Art School of A.F. Voynitsky which was founded in 1959 works. For lifetime schools that were graduated by more than 2,100 pupils. Along with art school, in Tiraspol there is a Children's School of Arts of S5. Rachmaninoff and Children's Music School of P1. Tchaikovsky. The Dnestr State University of T.G. Shevchenko, the oldest higher education institution of Moldova, founded in 1930 and having the Russian accreditation, is distinguished from higher educational institutions. At the CTs the postgraduate study in a number of the scientific directions and also the Southern Office of the Russian Academy of Education works. In 2011 at all schools of the city there was a new discipline, Tiraspol, and training became 6-day for all school students from 5th on the 11th classes. On this subject the detailed facts of regional history are studied, sightseeing tours are conducted, various memorable and significant places of the capital are visited. On the basis of the former School of Militia the Tiraspol Legal Institute works. On the basis of the former musical school, the highest musical college of A. Rubinstein which was transformed on August 22, 2013 to the Dnestr State Institute of Arts and received official registration. Except actually Tiraspol, in the city branches of higher education institutions of Moscow. The Moscow Institute of Business and the RAID, the Moscow Pedagogical University of Master of Arts. Shalahov. Kiev. The Kiev Inter-Regional Academy of Human Resource Management. Odessa. The Odessa National Legal Academy. Work. In 2008 on the basis of military faculty of the Dnestr State University the Military Institute of the Ministry of Defense of the Dnestr Moldavian Republic of a name of the Lieutenant General Alexander Ivanovich Lebed was created. In Tiraspol on the basis of State Educational Institution, Republican Cadet Boarding School of F.E. Tiraspol Ministry of Internal Affairs of the Dnestr Moldavian Republic. In 2017 the Tiraspol Suvorov Military School is opened. Culture. Cultural life of the city provide a number of municipal and republican level of institutions. The Tiraspol Joint Museum, which part 5 museums are. Also in the city, the Central City Library of A.S. Pushkin and 8 of her branches works, and for children the Central Children's Library of 5. Mayakovsky functions. In Tiraspol 6 club institutions and the State Cultural Center, Palace of the Republic, on the basis of which there are the State Symphonic Orchestra, the Dnesta State Choir, the Dnesta State Ensemble of Dance and Folk Music of Vyrik, the Quintet of Liberty and the State Circus Work. Since the beginning of the 1930th years in the city there was a drama theater which has the status of state now and bears a name of the founder of theater Nadezhda Stepanovna Aronetskaya. Before the collapse of the USSR in Tiraspol 5 movie theaters worked. Tiraspol 3 screen at Suvorov Square. Youth. On Yunosti Street in Oktyarsky District. Satellite. In Boulevard Gagarin. October. On Lenin Street. World. In Kirovsky District. At the moment in the capital there was one movie theater, Tiraspol, in which there are 3 halls. Since 1947 in Tiraspol there is the main park of the city, Victory, in the territory of which the fountain, Summer Strada and attractions works. Same year in the city Palace of Culture, on the basis of which art collectives work today, was constructed. Orchestras. National and Chamber. Theatrical. Drama and theater for young audience. Circus, choreographic. National East Variety and Ball Direction. Theater of Fashion, choral singing. In 1995 in Tiraspol the Municipal Ensemble of Folk Music and the Dance, Vatra, which is one of active participants of all city and republican actions, was created. In January 1993, at the initiative of the Tiraspol City Department of Culture, the International Association of Cultural Workers and Art was formed. At the time the association united more than 36 organizations, cultural institutions and art, certain sites from 24 cities, the countries of the FSU and beyond. At the moment the Board of Association is in the city of Solnykhnagorsk of the Moscow region of the Russian Federation, and in Tiraspol the Coordination Center headed by the responsible secretary of Marcus Nikolai Daimchenko is located. At the Dnesta State University 4 museums. The Museum of History of the University, the Museum of Archaeology, Zoological Museum, the Geological and Paleontologic Museum. Function. In January 2014 at Republican Ukrainian Theoretical Lyceum Complex, Gerala T. Shi. Shevchenko's Museum Theater was open. In Tiraspol there were born and lived various famous performers and collectives. From musical heritage of the 1970th, the 1990th years it is possible to allocate representatives of rock music, Alexander Kurnitsky, Valery Gainetexen. Pop musics, Vlad Stashevsky. Music of the beginning of the 21st century, Nelly Chobanu, Sunstroke Project, Pavel Parfeny and Longa. From film actors to Tricuration's wife, Marina Mako is most known. Sport. In Tiraspol, different types of sport develop, and athletes and teams act both in internal tournaments, and in the championships of Moldova and Ukraine. In the capital of Transnistria, the most titled club in the history of the Moldavian soccer, Sheriff, who is an 18-time champion of Moldova, the 10-time owner of the Cup of Moldova, the 7-time owner Supercup of Moldova, the 2-time owner of the Cup of Champions of the Commonwealth, and also the first Moldavian club which left in a group stage of the Europa League, is based. Till 2015 in the city there was a football club, Tiraspol, and the Dynamo Car Club. At the moment the Speaker in the National Division of Moldova was founded on July 24, 2009. In Tiraspol, the oldest football club of Moldova, Tiraspol, founded in 1938, was based. The team became the 3-time owner of the Cup of Moldova. In 2009, because of financial problems of Tiraspol, stopped the existence. In the capital, the specialized school of the Olympic Reserve for children and young people of soccer and game sports of I.1. Dobrovolsky is engaged in development of soccer, basketball, baseball and volleyball. Her most famous pupil is the football player of USO national teams, This in Russia, the champion of the Summer Olympic Games of 1988 as a part of USO national team and the winner of the Champions League of 1993, Igor Dobrovolsky. In Tiraspol, the school of fight and boxing where developed Greco-Roman wrestling, kickboxing, judo and boxing is located. In 2008 the Ice Snowflake complex, which became base of hockey club, Platina, was open. On this ice arena are carried out horse play of the team in superiority of Youth Hockey League. From Soviet period in Tiraspol there is a school of rowing and firing in which train in rowing, rowing at kayaks and a canoe, archery, bullet firing, sports acrobatics. In 1980 the pupil of the Tiraspol school Larisa Popova became the Olympic champion in rowing on the steam room 2 with Elena Hlaptseva. At the London Olympic Games which took place in 2012, Alexander Dychenko together with Yuri Postragain became the Olympic champions, first in the history in discipline the kayak pair of 200 meters and the first Olympic champions in the contemporary history of Russia on kayaks pair. In 1992 Natalia Valieva as a part of the joint team competed at the Summer Olympic Games in Barcelona and won 2 bronze medals in individual and command competitions in archery. In total the archeress was a participant of 6 Olympic Games and is a 4-time world champion in archery. Since 1995 in the city the sports club, Kvint, which part the big tennis, boxing and the Kvint baseball team is functions. The baseball team from 1996 to 2003 became the champion of Moldova. In 1996, 1997 and 2003 the team became the silver prize winner, and in 1998 and 1999 the bronze prize winner in the Open Championship of Ukraine. In 2004 there was a kickboxing section at SK's record of the CTs of T.G. Shevchenko, and on November 9, 2012 in Tiraspol the first international kickboxing tournament in discipline of K-1 by the rules WACO Pro was held. The Tiraspol team just Future -1, which became the owner of the Cup of Moldova on handball of 2012, participates in the Handball Championship of Moldova among men's teams. In the National Division of Moldova on a futsal, Amifi, the Tiraspol club Sokolju acts. In August 2013 on an ice skating rink, Snowflake, is Open Academy of Hockey. then also the first international tournament of memory of Vladimir Krutov in which 6 youth teams from Moldova, Russia, Ukraine, the Czech Republic and Hungary participated was held. Religion. According to a population census of 2004, the most part of residents in the Republic profess Orthodoxy. Tiraspol. It is considered the cathedral city in which the Tiraspol and Dubasari Diocese of Russian Orthodox Church is located. In 2000 the Cathedral of Christmas was constructed, and in 2010 on the place of the former park of Kirev's Fyodorov-Denskopokomyev's construction convent began. Also in the city there are several churches. An intercession of the Theotokos, the prelate Nicholas the Wonderworker, the hierarchical farmstead of the Saint Apostle Andrew the First called, the Lady Day, Sratinskaya, house church in honor of an icon of the Mother of God, All Grieving Joy, at Republican Clinical Hospital, house church of Saint Regal Martyrs in Wien-2 Jain, PM, house church of Blessed Xenia of St. Petersburg at Wien-3 Jain, PM. Saint Kirill equal to the Apostles and Methodi. Nestrovsk. In Tiraspol Old Belief Church of the Intercession, the only church works in the city which wasn't closed in Soviet period. Also in the capital are presented Judaism in the form of the only synagogue. Catholicism, parish of the Roman Catholic Church of the Holy Trinity. German Evangelic and Lutheran Community. Protestantism, Christ's Church of Christ Redeemer. Seventh-day Adventist Church, Maranatha Church and Emmanuel Church. In October 2011 on Slava's Memorial St. George's the Victorious' Chapel was constructed and consecrated. From September 8 to September 9, 2013 the Patriarch of Moscow and All Russia Kirill was on a 2-day visit to Transnistria. In the first day of the visit Kirill visited the Cathedral of Christmas where he made a prayer before an icon of the Mother of God, collecting the dead, called Tiraspol. Next day the Patriarch Kirill prayed together with believers and addressed the people of Transnistria on the main square of the city of Tiraspol. Architecture. For all history of the city in Tiraspol 30 monuments history, 18 monuments of architecture and town planning, 15 monuments of monumental art remained. All architectural sites are located on Central and the streets. October 25th Street, Sverdlov Street, Pushkin Street, Lunacharsky Street. Adjoining to her. One of the remained buildings since foundation of the city is the powder cellar of a bastion of sacred Vladimir of the Tiraspol fortress. The author Alexander Suvorov, the engineer Franz D. Wolin, 1793. On this central street there is one of historical important buildings, the headquarters of cavalry crew of G. 1. Katovsky. The beginning of the 20th century, which initially was the first hotel of the city under the name Paris. In Tiraspol buildings of town council remained, now in it the Ministry of Health of PM and fire station. The beginning of the 20th century. And also building of a humanitarian and mathematical gymnasium. Originally female gymnasium. Which architect was A. M. Skorupko. 1901. Is located. Opposite to the government house of PM there is a building of the Tiraspol Giant Museum in which the nobility assembly was located, and in Soviet period there took place the first congresses of councils of the Tiraspol County, and Memorial House Museum of N.D. Zelinsky. One of the remained religious buildings in which services never stopped is the Old Belief Church. The beginning of the 20th century. The architectural appearance of Tiraspol was created in the 1950th, the 1980th years, and is defined by mainly ordinary building which doesn't have the art contents. Buildings of a Stalin era are on October 25th Street. It is possible to distinguish buildings of the Palace of Children's and Youthful Creativity, Palace of Culture, Tiraspol Movie Theatre, the Government House and the Supreme Council, the House of Soviets, the railway station from the most monumental constructions of the city. The Sports Sheriff Complex. 2002. Which is on departure from Tiraspol towards the city of Bender, became one of the last significant constructions of the city. Monuments. In the city there is a set of the monuments, commemorative plaques and memorial complexes established in honor of significant events or the famous people whose life was connected with Tiraspol. Monument to G. 1. Katovsky. Monument to M. 1. Kutuzov. Monument to A. 5. Suvorov. Monument to A. S. Pushkin. Monument to 5. F. Raevsky. Communication and Massachusetts Media. In Tiraspol since August 9, 1992 is based in the channel Dnester TV channel, works which till December 2006 carried the name PMTV. At the moment the staff of TV channel includes 5 correspondent offices and makes 157 people. Programs of TV channel are broadcast generally in Russian. There are 7 programs on Moldavian and 4 in Ukrainian. Since December 30, 1999, the television of the Free Choice began to work. Both TV channels cover events of the city and republic. Also in the city, the digital cable television from the company Internetspec, including more than 120 TV and radio channels in quality 576i and 720p in formats 4, 3 and 16, 9 works. Also it is possible to listen to a part of canals with a different soundtrack. One of the leading printing enterprises of Transnistria is Kist Typar, which publishes city and Republican newspapers, such as Transnistria, the Dniester Truth, Adeverel Nistrian, Broker, Zoz, The Person and His Rights, Power Engineering Specialist, and others. The Dnestrovskaya Pravda newspaper is issued in the city since 1941. It covers various aspects of life of Tiraspol, daily events, political and economic problems of Transnistria and other countries. In May 1992 there was first issue of the Republican newspaper Prosoyuzny Vesti. Also in the city there is a Republican newspaper, Transnistria, which was founded by the President of PM and the Supreme Council of PM on July 22, 1994. In 2004 the newspaper was awarded with an Order of Honor. PM. Since 1994 the Adeverel Nistrian newspaper, the only newspaper in the Moldavian language, is issued. Cyrillics. She leaves 2 times a week with a circulation of 1380 copies. In the city the weekly promotional and informational newspapers, Caravan, which first number appeared on October 29, 2003, and Broker are issued. Honorable citizens of Tiraspol. Bayev Oleg Markovic is the CEO of Kvint. Polkovsky Vladimir Alexandrovich is the Soviet military leader. the participant of the Great Patriotic War, the hero of the Soviet Union. Gorbatko, Viktor Vasilievich's Major General, the space pilot of the USSR, twice the hero of the Soviet Union. Dyachenko, Ignat Dmitrievich is an honored builder of the Moldavian SR, hero of socialist work. Zhdanovich, Stepan Naumovich, built and then headed the plant of AIM on May 1, is awarded with the Order of Lenin. Kachurovskaya, Nina Ilyinichna is the foundress of the Tiraspol pharmacy chain. Kretzel Dmitry Vladimirovich is a builder, hero of socialist work. Lushkov, Yuri Mikhailovich is the Russian political figure for 18 years. From 1992 to 2010. The holding post of the mayor of Moscow. Marakutsa. Grigory Stepanovich is the Dnestr state and political figure, the chairman of the Supreme Council of PM. 1990-2005. Moskalenko, Kirill Semyonovich is the Soviet military leader, twice the hero of the Soviet Union, Marshal of the Soviet Union. The Deputy of the Soviet of Nationalities of the Supreme Council of the USSR 2-11 Convocations. 1946-1985. From Rusfers. The 11th Convocation. Award, Vila Nikolaevich is the CEO of KIST Tirtex. 1996-2013. Ostapenko, Ivan Danilovich, was engaged in improvement of the equipment at woodworking plant. Ostashenko, Fyodor Afanasovich is hero of the Soviet Union, the honorable citizen of Tiraspol and Bratislava. The gentleman of 2 orders of Lenin, 3 awards of the Red Banner, the orders of Suvorev of the 2nd degree, Patriotic War of the 1st degree. Pavlov Ivan Alexandrovich, the hero of socialist work. Petrik, Pavel Petrovich, headed the Republic's 2nd largest city party organization. In the years of his work, considerable changes in appearance of the city and in improvement of life of citizens are noted. Blue. Viktor Grigorievich is a statesman of the Moldavian SR and Transnistria. Smirnov Igor Nikolaevich is the first president of the unrecognized Dnestr Moldavian Republic from December 13, 1991 to December 30, 2011. Solovyova Valentina Sergeyevna, the hero of socialist work, the gentleman of 3 orders of Lenin, the awards, Labor Slava, Badge of Honor, Awards of the Republic. PM. A set of foreign awards and distinctions. Sudets. Vladimir Alexandrovich is the Soviet military leader, the Marshal of Aircraft, the hero of the Soviet Union. Voynitsky Alexander Fyodorovich is the Russian and Soviet artist and the teacher, the honored worker of arts of the Moldavian SR. Serov Alexei Fedorovich, the participant of a revolt on the Prince Potemkin Taurian battleship, the state and public figure. Sherekin Mikhail Nikolaevich is the Soviet military leader, the Colonel General. 1945. Commander of the 37th and 57th Armies, hero of the Soviet Union. 1945. Justinian Ovchinnikov, the Archbishop of Lista and Kalmyk. Kalina Andreeva is the chairman of Women's Strike Committee of PM. Tiraspol in art. In Tiraspol, shootings of such Soviet movies as were carried up. Have no 100 rubles. 1959. Nikashir from the tribe difficult. 1975. To you the telegram. 1983. The lonely bus in the rain. 1987. In 2013, the famous Ukrainian telecast, Oriel and Tales, in the 7th season, Back in the USSR, showed the episode about the city, including several interviews with inhabitants. The release aired on September 22, 2013. In painting. A number of pictures of the famous Russian artist Mikhail Larionov is made in Tiraspol, where he was born and lived some time. Boulevard in Tiraspol, 1911. Window of Tiraspol, 1909. Woodcutters, harvest, laundresses, bathing of horses, guard divorce, mourning in barracks, 1910. Officer hairdresser, 1909. Here the artist created a series of soldiers' works of Venus, soldiers, Kitsapsky, Moldavian, Jewish. Also about the city, a number of pictures was painted by the honorable citizen of Tiraspol Alexander Foynitsky. A meeting concerning formation of Max. On July 28, 1924, the May Day Parade in Tiraspol. In 1925, Tiraspol is under construction. New houses in Tiraspol, Teachers Institute in Tiraspol, Spring. Construction of theatre in Tiraspol, and is a lot of other cloths. The city in philately and numismatics. In 1865, in the Tiraspol county of the Kherson province, the territorial justice was created, and on January 1, 1873, in the county territorial mail opened. Correspondence from Tiraspol went along two routes 2 times a week to settlements of the county. Delivery of private correspondence was paid with territorial brands which were issued in 1873. Had round shape. And in 1879, a rectangular shape with the image of the district coat of arms. Brands were extinguished by deletion by ink. In 1875 for use on office. State. Correspondence to free office wafers which didn't have relations to signs of post payment were released. In April 1994 there was the first PM post block, 50 years of liberation of Transnistria from fascist aggressors. The reproduction of a picture of the local artist 5. Shikik reminiscence is the basis for his drawing. It was the first commemorative release of PM. In 2008, to the 50th anniversary of the Tiraspol Giant Museum, Marka Pridnestrovia released an anniversary series of stamps. On brands, the most interesting and valuable exhibits of the museum, for example, archaeological finds, vases and jugs which origin historians refer to the 2-3 centuries BC, are represented. The design of brands was developed by the director of Marka Pridnestrovia Evgeny Kotenko. Materials were provided by the Anniversary Museum. Circulation of each brand -330 pieces. In December 2014, the Dnestr Republican Bank released a commemorative coin from not precious metals of 1 ruble of PM. On it the monument to a 5. Suvorov against the background of the plan of the Tiraspol fortress. In the top part, year of foundation of the city is represented. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.